Hello, welcome back to a new episode of the Gothic Heart. And today I have the owners of Mountains and Magic Events, Elena and Emily, and they are here in Colorado with me, which is super exciting. I love talking to businesses in Colorado, and they just finished this epic event. And so I'm going to turn it over to them just so they can introduce themselves and what the business is all about, as well as talk about this most recent event, which is so exciting. I can't take it. So, all right, Elena and Emily, why don't you guys go ahead?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. I'm Elena. I am the founder of Mountains and Magic, but the only way that this happens is because of Emily and her beautiful, incredible creative mind. So between the two of us, we make a really good team. I am known as the logistics person, and she is definitely known as the creative and the communication. She's just incredible at what she does. So your turn.
Thank you. Emily, I told my husband recently, I said, you know what? Elena could have gone and done this without me. I never would have gotten the start without her. I can do the communications and the creative, but without logistics, it's just like a great idea that never happens. So,
I
but
think the great idea doesn't happen for the logistics to go through. So it's just really a perfect
good team.
day for
That's right.
Well, that's exactly what I do. I find people that really complement my areas of opportunity because
That's right.
they are not my strengths. And then it works really well together. So it sounds like that's what you guys did. But tell us about Mountains and Magic. I mean, the way I think of it is you guys are bringing books and literary, you're just bringing these things to life so we can literally like jump in the pages. So I know it's better than what I just said. So just explain like how you guys came up with it and how these events are coming along and just happening, just all of the things.
Well, I think that that's exactly what our goal is to like allow readers to have the opportunity to like live in this world for a moment, in the world that they have gone into in their mind, and through the help of the authors, the ideas and stuff that we have, but being able to like live there and be there and feel like the main character for some time. And I think that was the main goal behind starting it. Um, the way that this all kind of started was last year, my friends and I wanted to go to a Starfall ball, and I actually was blessed enough to meet the owners who created this opportunity in me at our event, which was so cool. Their event was
Leslie and Brandon with Fantastic Collection. They do fantastic events.
they are
Just to put it out there.
amazing.
We'll put
But
it in the
yes,
show notes too.
so yeah, so they had this ball that was coming up in May of 2024, and at this time when I say coming up, this was in August of 2023. And I went to go buy my tickets, and it was sold out because it was just such an incredible event. And I was like, gosh, I really wanted to go to that. Maybe I should just put together a party for my friends who read the book. And then I was like, hold on, I have planned corporate events, weddings, quinceañeras. I've been an event planner and done this. So I'm going to just try it. I'm going to just bet on myself and I'm going to do it. I started with $0 and a dream and sold tickets and sold out in 7 days for my first event. And then had 40 people on the wait list for like, if a ticket becomes available, please let me know. And so I created a night 2 and sold that one out in 10 days. But at the first event was where I met Emily. And she was just like, I love everything you're doing here. I would love to collaborate. Let's talk some more. And originally she was like, I can help with marketing because as you mentioned, areas of opportunity. That is an area of opportunity for me. It is very difficult for me to be consistent with marketing. I'm neurodivergent, and it's very tricky. And so I was like, yes, please do. And then the more we got to talking, we had coffee several times and we just came up with all of these ideas together. And we're like, let's do this together, actually. So starting in January before our night 2, Emily joined me and we created Mountains and Magic. And we just kind of launched our business that way and started taking off running. So go ahead. Anything you want to add?
Yeah. No, so I was funny. I was thinking about it the other day, and a lot of people start their romantasy journey with ACOTAR, right? Court of Thorns and Roses,
Very true. Me too.
and people, yeah, it's just a very common story. And and I'd seen people post about like, why is everybody so obsessed with ACOTAR? It's not even that great of a series. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I'll just say it. It's not the best writing that I have ever encountered, kind of thing. Even if it is some of my favorite books. But I have also never encountered a series where you post about it online or you wear a t-shirt and almost every time somebody's like, oh my gosh, you read it? You love it? Okay, what do you think about Cassian and Nested? And what, da, da, da. And it just, and it's this instant connecting point. And so, I posted about it the other day. It was just like, you know what? It's not because this series is the most incredible series that ever was. It's that once you read it, if you liked it, you automatically have a community. You automatically have all of these connections with other people that are like, yes, bad boys and wingspan and lens picking and, all the ridiculous things, watery bowels and, just all the inside jokes that come with ACOTAR. And so it just, I see all of the research these days about our generation being the loneliest generation, millennials, Gen Z, all of us. And I think there are a lot of reasons for that, but I think we're also just really hungry for connection. And so I think that's part of why ACOTAR is such a powerful series is that you have that. You have connection. If you want it, it's there. There are people who want to talk about it with you. And so that's, I think, where, these big events and all that sort of stuff come from, because it's like, okay, well, I don't want to just connect online. I want to connect in person. I want to step into that world. And I want found family, like the inner circle, And so I think that's another big reason that we started this is just like, yes, like we wanted the magic of it and the fun and getting to do something nothing like anything else we've ever done before. But we also just want to be there with other people who are like just excited to be there with you. And we were talking about it after our last event. Just everybody was so kind at that event to each other, like just building each other up. There was no sizeism or ageism or racism or genderism or whatever you want to call it. Like it was just like, you look amazing. Like, I love your outfit. I can't believe you made your armor. Look what you did with your makeup. Oh my gosh, your hair. And so it's like, it just takes out the competition. It takes out the loneliness. There were so many solo attendees.
Exactly. And there were so many like of the same costume, and it was just in no way a competition. In fact, we didn't have a costume competition. Like we had thought about it, having a costume contest and all of that. And they were like, we really don't want to pit people against each other. We're trying to build community. Yeah. So let's not do that way. But also, my mom said it so well, is like reading is such a solo endeavor. And this gives people the opportunity to like share a world that only they have lived in with other people. And that feeling it's unmatched. It really is. So that sense of community, I think, was what both of us really needed in 2023. We were going through each of our own struggles in 2023. And so that sense of community that we found in books just really brought us together, and then brought this idea of like, well, now we are responsible we have the ability to do this. We're responsible to create this community for other people as well. And we have the capability. We are strong and we're powerful and we're capable and we can do it. So
the passion, like with you listening to you guys talk and just pouring off of you guys for this is incredible. I mean, I feel like I hope that's how I look when I'm talking about my stuff, because I feel the same way. So, I love that. I love that. And all just, they get to be and experience and express themselves for who they want. Like you said, no judgment, none of those things. Whereas like in regular everyday life, we can get some of that, or growing up, we can get some of that judgment and everything. So I love that there's just this place where everyone is accepted and gets to be themselves.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, okay, I am not a party planner. Okay. I mean, I planned my wedding 13 years ago with the help of coordinators, and that is the extent of my planning ability. So how does it go? Do you like pick a book or a theme of books? And then like, how does this planning begin? I'd love to hear, I mean, not the secret stuff, but like, what is the process like on how you guys just did your last one?
Do you want me to?
I can jump in.
Cool.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, like the basis of our business is fantasy books, events, and a ball. And so we know we're starting with fantasy books. And so then we figured it would probably, especially for our first major one together, be a, Sarah J. Maas and Forest Wing kind of themed. But then past that, we were like, what should we actually focus in on in terms of of our theme though for all of these books. And
Asked our community.
yes,
We said, what do you guys want?
exactly.
So where? Like Facebook group or?
Social. So yeah, Instagram is our primary platform. We're also on Facebook and TikTok and whatnot, but that's our primary connecting point with people. So we literally just posted like something about, if you could have any theme for a ball, what would you want? And this girl, I'm fairly certain it was Patty, if I remember correct, wasn't it? Yeah. And
She's been to all 3 of my events.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
both of my first one.
Yeah.
So my first one are one together in January, and then this past one.
Right.
So she's amazing. She's such a huge supporter. We love her.
Yeah, absolutely. So giving credit where credit
Yeah,
due.
exactly.
But she said, let's do Shadow Daddy themed. And I was like, girl, yes. That's
Exactly.
exactly. And so then, alliteration, of course, is just so big in this community. And so Swords and Shadows was born. And so then it was just became about like, how do we flesh that out and make it feel like just a little bit touching into dark fantasy, but not too far because not everybody.
Yeah.
It's not everybody's cup of tea. And we just went from there.
I think, just speaking to the logistics side of it, from there, after we had a theme, we had to find the perfect location.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, who was the photographer, she has 42 at Vesper and East Opal, and she's just been so supportive of all of these events as well.
Mm-hmm.
She does wedding photography and videography, primarily she and her husband. And so they had a million ideas for incredible locations. And so we were fortunate enough to be able to like pick through some of their ideas. Like, okay, what weddings have you done that you like? And we found the Highlands Ranch Mansion and toured it, and we're like, this is it. It has like even turrets. It feels very much like a castle. It's just giant. My first event was at a strip mall. It was at a dance studio in a strip mall, which I'm so thankful to Anthem for letting us be there and everything. But it was just very much speaks to the growth that we have done as a company and that this community has been able to provide, that we were able to go from that dance studio to now a, full-blown historical mansion, or historic mansion, I should say. And so then the next thing was the location. And then from there, a lot of the logistics have to kind of fill themselves in. I have to keep track of, all of these timelines and all of these dates and everything like that. But with the location, they tell you who you can use for catering. Like, these are the list of people you can choose for catering. And so then that kind of narrows down some of the choices there. This is what you're allowed to do as far as decor. Like, you can't tape anything, you can't hang anything to the wall, you can't, obviously it's a historic mansion, we can't damage it, and we wouldn't want to. And so that kind of was allowed us to get creative on decor and how can we create these immersive experiences while honoring, like, using the venue as part of the immersive experience. You step through this giant door that only gets open for events. And it's just incredible. You walk in and you're just immediately like chandelier right in front of you. And just like you've read the cases with rising into the distance with more crystal chandeliers and giant like historic living room to your right. And just like everywhere that you look, you're like, oh, I'm in a book right now for sure. Like, I just walked in. So that was really cool. We were just so blessed to find the location. And then that kind of informed all of the decisions as to like what we would be able to do for decor, what we were able to do for catering, what we were able to do for et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this process was different than like planning a wedding because, for example, with a wedding, you know exactly the number of people that you're sending invites out, or quinceañera, for example. You know exactly the number of people that you're sending invites out, and like within a month or so before then, you know exactly how many people are coming. Whereas this is an ongoing ticket sale thing. So we are like, we could have 7 people or we could have 250 people. We knew we weren't going to have 7, but the numbers build as you go. And so planning around that to make sure that we can be, it has to adjust constantly in real time. So I think that our ability to pivot and our ability to create more and more and more for the people that were coming was just incredible, honestly. I'm so proud of us.
This was only a couple of weeks ago, too, that it just happened. So
that's right.
What were some of the experiences that people got to take part in at the event?
So we were trying to design an event that was for as many people as possible. So, you know, one of the things that's present at pretty much every event and that people really loved was the dance floor, And so
Of course.
when you're, especially when you're more extroverted and you're feeling more confident and all that sort of stuff, a lot of people participated in that. And Elena made the comment at one point, she was like, I don't think the dance floor was ever empty once we started it.
Single song.
And so, which was really cool. And, but we knew that not everyone was going to want to dance. That's just not everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. And so we were trying to think about people like introverts and people or people who aren't physically capable of being out on the dance floor for very long, or we had someone show up in a wheelchair and that sort of thing. And so it's just like, how do we make this magical for everyone? No matter how they're wired or what their capabilities are or whatever it is. And so, so in addition to the dance floor, we tried to put things throughout the mansion. Of course, we had our vendor market. It was spread throughout the mansion. We had some really incredible vendors selling everything you could think of for the bookish realm. It was amazing.
I wish I had known about it ahead of time, and enough time to be that. So definitely going to apply for your next event.
Pre-styled wigs for different characters, elf ears, and just 2 different bookstores were there, able to sell their books. Oh gosh, 2 authors, just so many, whatever, like you said, whatever you could think of, it was there.
Book-themed perfumes, which I totally bought one. It was Basquiat themed. That was Cupids and Cryptids. But yeah, so that was also really popular. People found a lot of things there. So that was very cool. We had some card games set out of Cards Against Prythian, and then the Fourth Wing. So it's like the Cards Against Humanity, but ACOTAR version, and then Fourth Wing version. We had a bead making, not bead making, but a bead station where you could make bracelets and necklaces, and that was super popular. That table was pretty full a lot of the times. The Swifty style bracelet.
Discussion prompt, breakout rooms. We had photographers going on. So our tier 2 and VIP guests had booked their own mini fantasy shoot with a photographer. That was part of their ticket package. And it was just incredible because the mansion was such an amazing backdrop that, both inside and outside, depending on their comfort level. And the photographers were incredible, just being able to capture that. So that was another cool added aspect. Then we had some raffle stuff going on. And then we also really wanted to allow our vendors an opportunity to have FaceTime with as many people as possible. So, and we wanted our guests to come and see all that we had available, because sometimes you don't know there's something else upstairs or there's something else around the corner or whatever. So we did a little, almost like a scavenger hunt where they could get a stamp on their passport of going to all of these different places. And that really was beneficial. I got so much great feedback from guests that were like, that was so cool. It gave me something to do, and I didn't feel I felt like I had a job to do. I had a purpose to do. So I wasn't looking weird standing in the corner. I had something I could be doing, and then I was naturally starting conversation. And that was just another way to add community and stuff there too. So that was super cool.
I was just thinking at the same time that I've done that, just because I used to be in cosmetics and I'd managed the cosmetics department. And so we would have a scavenger hunt so that for events, people would go to every line, they'd go to Clinique and Lancome and Edge and Kiehl's and, all of those to make sure. So it was the same type of thing. And I love that idea. But I didn't mean to interrupt you, Emily. Sorry.
Not at all. No, I was just going to say that we also had the Fantasy Fangirls podcast out there, and which is our favorite, book theories podcast. They've covered ACOTAR and Fourth Wing and stuff like that. And so they actually had their first show of their own at it was not Comedy Central, but one of those kinds of things in Denver. And they had their own show. I think it was sold out. So I was really happy for them. But they came, and then they did a live Q&A for Onyx Storm coming out in January. And so that was really fun too. And so we had trivia. So we had a bunch of different activities. We had cosplayers, so that, we hope to have something for everyone, so that everyone just feels like that was the experience that I needed to just feel like I stepped out of my life, out of reality, and into this fantasy book community where everything felt good and beautiful and different and magical.
Sounds like you were very successful. I mean, even if someone didn't like something, there were 20 other options, which is
That was the goal.
Spectacular. And all of these people that you just mentioned, like that I didn't even know were in Colorado. Like I'm so excited. Like I'm trying to branch out and meet more people because I work with so many people not in Colorado. So it's really exciting when I find people that are part of my aesthetic here in Colorado. And I wish, like I said, I wish I had known before, like, because I didn't find out about your guys, I didn't discover you guys till later. But next event, I'm definitely going to apply to be a vendor for sure because
I
my
was about
jewelry
to say
totally
we would
fits.
love to see that. We didn't have any makeup, I don't think, at the event.
And the jewelry, it sounds like you had like beading and stuff, which is totally different from what I do, which is like fine jewelry. So it would be
Wow.
Perfect.
I know. Sorry, I didn't even tell you about that. But yes, the custom jewelry and the fine jewelry that I do, and there's a lot that fits those themes too. So it would have been so fun. Like you guys have this whole community, and I've been like building a community through the Gothic Heart, but it hasn't been very Colorado based at all.
Right.
So it's really exciting when I find people that have sort of those underlying style and personality and stuff like you guys. And then you guys have this whole like I got to jump into community and meet some of those people too, because it'd be nice to have some in Colorado, like in person.
Absolutely.
Well, that
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, that would be just incredible to have at a future event to be able to offer to other people. Like, the more we, took applications of different vendors because we wanted to make sure we are not offering two of the same store because we don't want stores in competition with each other. We really wanted, number one, a variety so that everybody benefits. The guests that were, shopping would have the ability to say, hey, this is actually what I want. But also, it's just been so cool to build the community with like our vendors. Because so many of them were at my first event, at our next event in January, and at this last one, like Poppy and Moon Crystal Company, my event in December was her first event ever, and she has just exploded, just grown exponentially. She has crystals that are like of bat wings and of like the cauldron that, that they
surreal.
the cereal. Exactly.
I want some of those. Okay, we'll put her in the show notes too.
You do. I want them for every shelf of mine. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to say, just in terms of like connecting with vendors and other community, like locally, it's hard to start an online business and then build a local community with that online business.
I agree.
Because we're connected with people really all over the world. And so, it was this interesting challenge. And then we want to connect with everybody all over the world. I've told Elena, I was like, somewhere between 5 and 10 years, we're going to do an event in another country, another continent,
in a castle.
That's right. So that's, we want to be able to do that someday, but we want to start with building, here and kind of small, if you will, but helping people create real connections that they're going to carry past the event, and so and that's been one of the coolest things about starting this business is that we have gotten connected with so many incredible people that we're just excited to be a part of this with us. Like they just jumped in with us and have been game changers for us. We mentioned Jennifer with East to Opal and 42 at Vesper. She has just been, oh my gosh, like could we have even done this event without her?
She is such a wealth of knowledge as far as like location and, all of these different ideas.
Just fearlessly talented. She and her husband both. We did this Throne of Glass fan fiction series where it was essentially like, it was supposed to be the dream that we all have as readers of like, where we just step out of reality and all of a sudden we just appear in Valaris or Terrasen or, Gaiath, whatever it is. And then, of course, we fall in love with one of the shadow daddies and live happily ever after, And so that was essentially what I went with. And so I noticed that this is not giving anything major away, but in Throne of Glass, there's a minor character. He's not a point of view character, but he didn't really get a happy ending. He just went through, and so my thought was like, I'm going to write him a happy ending. And so we created, we created this whole mini series for it where the reader all of a sudden appears in Terrasen and connects with him. But 42 at Vesper, like they just helped envision that whole series. And they're so talented. But then I could go on, and I won't spend too much time. But Sparrow and Wild, Erin at Sparrow and Wild, another person that's just like, she lifts other women up and other businesses up, and she's just a kind person. She came to this last event, and not only did she donate the Only You Can Decide What Breaks You sticker that was in all the swag bags, but she also like organized a chat on Instagram for all the solo attendees or even just people who just wanted to meet other book friends going
Such
into
a
it.
good idea. I would have never
And
thought of
so
that.
like they got the hotel together. They had sword fighting lessons
Oh, that was so cool.
before the event
It was so
together.
cool.
That was
Yeah.
Eslyn, and we're gonna do a formal event with her at some point, doing sword fighting lessons. But
Mhm.
so it's just it's been amazing that we've connected with so many people that are they're just good people and they have fantastic businesses and just join forces, and then that's how we've kind of built this community together. Is because it's not just us; it's about these other incredible, mostly women, not entirely, but mostly that are just like, yes, I want to dive into this with you and I want to build this with you, like the magic as well as the community. And it's just really powerful and amazing.
That's
Absolutely.
incredible. And even more
Yeah.
incredible, they're all in Colorado. Like, I feel like the next 2 hours of my life after this are going to be just researching all of these people that you just mentioned. Like, how do I not know? Like, I feel like I'm in all of the Colorado, you know, goth and alternative and
Right.
whatever groups, but how do I not know these vendors? Like, I'm always reaching out for Colorado alternative vendors. Like, I'd love to talk to you. Apparently, I just needed to ask you guys who they were.
Just let us know. We can connect you with dozens of incredible people.
Apparently that. Oh my gosh. I'm so, so glad that you guys came on. And I want to hear, I mean, gosh, I wish that I had known about it in enough time to plan and everything for that event, but I know that's not it. So, I mean, obviously you don't need to give away secrets, but what's coming for everybody in 2025?
We talked about several ideas.
Yes.
None of them are, well, not none of them. Few of them are solid enough to like, to be spoken of yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yes, but I mean, so you had mentioned maybe sword fighting classes. I mean, obviously, I assume we're going to have another ball. Like,
Definitely we'll have another big event like a ball. Definitely that will happen in 2025. We like she said, we can't give away too many details
right. I totally
about that
understand.
just yet, but I would just encourage anybody to keep an eye on our socials for the next week to 2 weeks, and you'll get some pretty good information there.
and our newsletter.
Oh, and definitely
we
our newsletter.
We have a monthly newsletter. I'm still working on like getting it completely consistent and everything like that. But I do author interviews with just indie authors and that kind of thing. So like Claire Sager, and that kind of thing. And so Nicole Platania, who does Curse of Ophelia. And so we do that, and then we'll also that's probably where we'll put out our first teasers for events, as well as like discounts.
Well,
Always in the
so
newsletter.
for the people that are just discovering you guys on this podcast or however, are they going to have to wait a whole year for something?
No. We will be putting out more details about the ball within the next few weeks. We just need to make some connections and find out who's might be willing to be involved in this particular endeavor. So that will be. But
Got it. But people, I
so
totally understand. So,
Yes.
and so definitely listeners, the newsletter, like they talked about on their website, which we'll link below, and Instagram. You guys can be the first to find out. But you had mentioned indie authors, and this is probably just a side note, but I have a friend who I actually had on my podcast. She lives in Colorado and she writes supernatural fantasy novels. So 7, 8, oh God, I don't even know. It's probably more than that she's had out too. So gosh, I should
Definitely connect.
I was about to say, yeah.
Please and thank
We
you.
love to shine a spotlight on authors that have not really been discovered yet and just help people discover them. So yes, we're definitely excited about that. But we'll also release more details of things that are also really soon. We are in the work of trying to get an Onyx Storm release party going. And so I don't even know if I probably shouldn't say the bookstore yet. Because they're really being
no problem. At a
bookstore
bookstore,
until
maybe.
things work. Yes, but he has said yes. We just need to
Right.
get things in motion. But that's the plan. And so of course, Onyx Storm releases January 21st. So there's that. That's just next month.
Listeners can expect to have something, some sort of event, some sort of other way to build community with us and through our business several times this upcoming year.
Mhm.
But we're aiming for like the one really big ball event this upcoming year.
I could just imagine the energy that's expended into that. I mean, Yes, totally get it. But at least you're not leaving the fans and the community like astray. Like they've got other fun things
That
that they
would
can show.
be horrible. Here, come to the most magical event of your life that you can't stop, and I won't ever see you again. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And just,
we do.
like TV shows nowadays or whatever, and then it's
They
like
do
3 years
one
for the next
season.
season, right?
Oh, it's so upsetting. My Lady Jane was great romantic-y. It was romantic-y, essentially. And yeah, they canceled it. It's fine. It's fine. But no, so and speaking of which, we are hoping to do because the balls are they have to be a higher price ticket, just because it's so expensive to throw that kind of ball. It was interesting. Leslie with Fantastique Collection mentioned that they did a survey with their audience about what they thought it cost to throw a fantasy ball, and I think it was like 5 to 10, 10 to 15, and it went up and up and up, and then
Okay.
25 to 50, and then 50 to 75 or something like that. And she said, I think she said something like 40% of people got it right, that it costs typically a minimum of $25,000 to throw a ball.
It's like a wedding. I mean,
Right.
Absolutely. And I can say we definitely spent more than 25.
Oh yeah.
And she said like almost everybody else thought it cost less. And so, it's just, and so that's why it's like, you look at those price points and you're like, wow, you're taking advantage of everybody. And it's new.
I mean,
it's so
I looked
expensive.
at those price points and I hear all of the things that you had available to them, and it sounds like incredible. I mean, think about just
We
the photo
try.
shoot alone.
We really tried. Yeah, for sure. And so we're really trying to make things as accessible to people as possible, especially in this economy and that kind of thing. And so in addition to the more grand events that have the higher price point, we are hoping to do free or at cost events as well. And so, we want to be able to reach everybody no matter where they find themselves financially or geographically or whatever else. And so, and then we mentioned the sword fighting lessons. We talked about maybe having like a potluck picnic kind of thing, maybe this summer. And so, so that would be a free or at cost event, depending on how all the logistics come out. And so, yeah, we're really trying to create as many opportunities for connection as possible.
Oh, and I think that your idea of putting the brunch together was just incredible. So by that point, by the time that we walked into the event, yes, we've built this incredible community with all of our vendors, but then we had our cosplayers on Friday night that we had this really amazing time at main event, just, playing together, having fun. And then the next morning, Emily organized this brunch, and so I'll let her tell you more about it. But then by the time we walked into the ball, at least 40 of us were like, we're best friends. We've done this already. We're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the coolest moments for me in this whole process was a girl that I had connected with in my own personal bookstagram last year. And, so she was following the Mountains and Magic event page as well. And she reached out to me and she was like, so I'm thinking about going to the masquerade. It looks really fun, but I wouldn't know anyone. I'm from out of state. So how could I, I just don't want to be alone in those things. It's cool to step into it, but if you don't have anybody to talk to and have a good time with, it just kind of reduces the experience. And so, I responded to her and I was like, girl, we are already thinking about that. I know that's a major, obstacle for a lot of people is they're like, I would love to go to something like that, but I don't know anybody who would go with me. And so that's part of the whole reason we're doing these events.
Yeah.
And so, we created a lot of ways to connect first online, like if they're out of state and that kind of thing. And so that's, Erin did the Instagram chat, and then another guest, her name was Autumn, started a Discord, and then we had the Facebook group. And so we had a lot of the Discord went crazy. Oh my God, people were posting about their dresses that they made from scratch
for fun, and it was just so cool.
Making their chain armor, all things. So they were just blowing up the Discord with all of these images and that sort of thing, and giving advice and oh, what can we do with a mask? And so we started there, and then we knew we needed, or I felt like we needed just a low-key event right before the masquerade so that people could meet each other. And going into it, no, I know a face, I know a name, I had fun with this person, we can hang out tonight.
I got 5 friendship bracelets leading up to the event. It was the coolest thing ever, just because I was people had brought friendship bracelets or brought bookmarks or just brought things to like share with other people that were coming to the brunch or that was coming to other events. And it was just, I mean, oh, it was incredible because I was just like so touched that people really did take the time to like make this connection. It wasn't just like, I guess I'll show up at a brunch, but it was very much with the intention of like, oh, I want to talk to somebody new. Let me talk to anybody that I haven't met or, something. So,
Mhm.
oh, incredible. Just amazing.
And it was so cool because like that friend that I mentioned, Sam, she messaged later and she was like, this will be my new annual tradition. I will be at every one of your balls because I was just such an amazing time. And I was it made me emotional because, it was just like she trusted me enough to spend this money on the ball and the flights and the hotel, and it was worth it to her. And so
Yeah.
to get to create an opportunity like that people find worth all of the effort is just it was magical. And yeah, the brunch was amazing, and that was an at cost event. They just paid for their food, and so it was so cool seeing dozens of people leave the ball with these actual friendships, people they're going to keep up with.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing.
Spectacular. I mean, gosh, I think about my work prior to when I launched my own company and the way I feel now when I work, and those kinds of feelings, like when I make the perfect engagement ring or, exactly their style earrings, or we repurposed their grandmother's heirlooms into whatever, and they have that feeling, the same kind of feeling that you're having. So, like, I totally understand that feeling and like how it feels to be able to give that to people as
Yeah.
a business. And I love that that's a priority that I mean, most people would just sell a ticket and, you go to the event, but thinking about your guests and how to make sure they had an optimal and perfect time and putting those pieces in play is just, that's above and beyond. And I'm very impressed. I love it.
you. Well, and Elena mentioned that 2023 was an incredibly rough year for both of us. I had gotten fired from my job at the end of 2022, and combined with a whole bunch of other factors, that's what I sunk into this huge depression, and I was even struggling with suicide ideation, and I was just struggling to stay on this planet. And it's so interesting because like in that year where I was just trying to stay alive, that's Pound, Akatar, and all the rest of Saturday Moss, and then Fourth Wing, and all these other books, and then was like, surely somebody's talking about it on Instagram. I'll call it Bookstagram automatically. I actually didn't know Bookstagram and Book Talk existed. I don't know how that slipped over my head because I've always been a reader, but I just didn't know. And people joke about it becoming their entire personality. I changed my personal Instagram account over to Bookstagram, and then we start this business. And
Like I read Akatar and not only changed my personality, but it was like, I can make events. It's fine. It's my whole like identity now. It's fine.
right, but
But it's not. But yeah.
but I'm so grateful for this story that we both have, because it's like another thing that it's kind of more of a subtle theme of ours in our business, but we care a lot about mental health, because both of ours have been in the trenches, where we were just like, how do I keep going?
If I can't survive in this world, maybe I will dissociate into this other world that I'm reading right now, because that's the best
Totally
that I
do
can do
that.
for today. That's the best I can do for today. Tomorrow I'll try again or whatever. But like that has definitely, like, books have definitely been a good way for me to escape sometimes when I'm like,
Me too. I've always been a book person. I was that person in 7th grade.
Right.
Hilarious. They were I'm echoing. The teachers told my parents, because I wasn't socializing, because I would just sit and read books at like lunch and stuff like that, and I had to like socialize and stuff. And I think to this day, like, why? I mean, reading books was awesome, and I still to this day, like, if I get overwhelmed or whatever, I'm like, oh, I need to read something. I need to escape. I need to not think.
right.
Well, and that's how part of how one of the biggest ways that I coped last year. It was like, okay, I'm about to have a mental breakdown. I'm gonna go lock myself in my room, and I'm gonna read a book until the emotions calm down enough that I can function. And it's one of those things that's like, we are so grateful to books to offer that escape when life feels too much. But, again, something else that we're passionate about is like, and part of why we named our company Mountains and Magic is that we have started to find that magic in everyday life for ourselves. And so we want to help other people find that magic in everyday life, because it is wonderful to get to escape life, but we also are trying to build the kind of lives we don't need to escape from, and that we like our lives. I mean, we're not going to like every single day in it, but just big picture. And so I do think community is a big part of that. I think purpose is a big part of that. You mentioned in some of your emails and stuff like that, like finding your own personal style and that kind of thing. That's something else that came out of last year for me. Is like I used to be like a single color V-neck and yoga pants girl everywhere all the time. I just like and I realized after my crash and burn last year that I was just like and I'm actually a pretty bold personality. I'm sure you haven't picked up on that at all, that I'm not exactly a wallflower, but I still have a lot of people pleasing tendencies, because we want connection. Yeah, because we want connection, right? And we don't want to experience and I experienced a lot of rejection in 2022 and 2023. And so that people pleasing feels like this, like, oh, I can use that to protect myself from rejection. And so last year when I experienced it anyways, I was like, oh no, I if I'm going to lose these relationships and that kind of thing anyways, why am I trying to please everyone?
Right. Oh, the power in that is wild.
That,
Why
like,
am I playing it?
Yeah.
Yes. Why am I playing it so safe? And so like that's when I finally, like, it took that intense of a crash and burn to realize, like, oh no, I'm done with that. I'm done with trying to orient my life around pleasing other people. And so so that's another just thing that's so powerful about this community, is that it seems like most people in this community celebrate that individualism, celebrate goth makeup and, or the Brookish t-shirts and like I have my dragon earrings and necklaces and, all these different things. And it's celebrated because it's different instead of shunned because it's different. And that's just so powerful. And again, that's part of what we're trying to build.
Well, I mean, if you think about any main character, they're writing about the thing that makes them different from everybody. That's what's highlighted. They're writing about
Very true.
and the way that they, always look off to the left or whatever, whenever they're blah, 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 or the way that they always wear this one earring on this side or whatever. Like, there's something that makes them different and that makes it worth writing. And so then it's like, I'm worth writing. Like I can show what's different about me.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing, just incredible. I love that we have gotten to really step into who we are and like, I want to say unapologetically. Like, it doesn't come without sacrifice because not everybody's going to like it and not everybody has. But, unapologetically, and like, it's okay if you don't like it. It's still who I am. And for me, what's been super empowering about that is that I have 5 kids, 4 of whom are daughters. And now they are all living unapologetically out loud, asking to take breaks. This for me is huge. Hey, Mom, I'm overstimulated. Can I go upstairs during the party? Absolutely, you can. Because I gave them that permission because I did that. You know what I mean? Like, that part is so cool because I have all of these little humans that are like watching me do this, and like, it's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to pull yourself out of the hole when you are okay. And it's okay to rely on a community when you can't do that. And that's what you and I have learned together this past year, I think. And that's what we are trying to foster for everybody around us, not just our families or ourselves, but, in this community that we've been building and just continue to build. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, same thing with my daughter. I have an 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, but with my 5-year-old or 8-year-old daughter, we went to see the Wicked movie. So good. And I dressed up as Elphaba. I mean, full green face, like my chest, my back, like I was green with my black wig. I mean, I went all in. And the 8-year-old was so anxious about it. She's like, what are people going to say? What if they kick you out? What if they don't like you? And she was like,
Oh,
so
no.
anxious about it. But it was cool because I got to speak into her and just be like, you know what, Addie, like, normal's boring. I mean, hey, excuse me. Normal's boring
But
for
it
me.
is. I see
And
that's
it
my
was just like, I was like, you know what, Addie, I have learned this past year to give myself permission to be different, whether or not people approve of that. And that I accept myself, even if other people don't accept that. And I'm going to find other people that can also accept me exactly the way that I am. and have no problem with it. And it's powerful.
Oh, and I just want to, touch on just a little bit of that. I know that we, have been going for quite a bit, but honestly, that's one thing that I have so appreciated in this, not only business partnership, but friendship with Emily, is that we can both genuinely see each other and say, hey, I am owning that this is not a strong area for me.
Mhm.
Like, this is where I need. So advocating for self and just knowing that you can own that part that doesn't feel comfortable. That's like, hey, I'm not good at everything. I'm not perfect at everything. Help me, please.
Mhm.
And, we've both been able to do that with each other this past year, and just kind of increasing that confidence that that is a possibility in life. Like, okay, own who you are, own what you can do, learn where to grow, and just really depend on people that are not going to say behind your back, like, oh my gosh, this person is so bad at blah, 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 blah. Because I can be genuinely vulnerable with Emily and say, I am not good in this area. This is where I need help, and vice versa. And we just take care of the other in that way, I think.
Absolutely.
So I'm just very fortunate to have that. I would recommend to anybody who is going into a business partnership that you do have the ability to have those vulnerable and intense conversations and not expect perfection out of each other.
Yes.
But if today my best is 70%, then that's my 100%. And the other 30% is going to get done somehow. Like, it doesn't have to just fall on Emily, but you know what I mean? Like, somehow it's got to get done. And if her best today is 75%, then that's her 100%, because I'm not going to ask her to come up with 25% she doesn't have. You know what I mean? To make up that 100. And that's just been an incredible asset in our business partnership, honestly. So,
But just to get to treat each other like people, like
Real people, yes.
novel idea. But like for the audiovisual trial run, the week of the event, I slept horribly, and I was supposed to meet her in Denver, and again, we're down in the Springs, and I was just like, Elena, I'm not totally certain I can drive to Denver safely because I am so tired. Like, this is not the level of tired that a big cup of coffee is going to knock out. And she was like, then you need to stay home and you need to take care of yourself because you need to not die. And it's fine.
It's important.
I'll make it work. And so she went and did it without me. And there were parts that, like, I really needed to have ready. Like, I was supposed to bring my computer, but she rolled with it because she's really good at that, just rolling with the punches. And then she's had some struggles with, like, her family being in and out of the ER urgent care this year. We've had to cancel meetings, and so it's just like, it's like one of those things where it's like, you know what? In a normal job, we probably both be fired.
Right. You don't have that flexibility. Oh my gosh.
Right.
To be treated like a real normal person.
Right.
And so it's such a blessing to both of us that we get to trust each other, to, like, yes, set good boundaries with each other, but also because we can also safely communicate that to each other.
Exactly.
But then also just to realize, like, this is just a human moment, and I'm going to let you be human, and we're gonna make it work because we do it for each other. If there's only one person doing that, well, it gets a little tricky,
Right.
but we do it for each other, and which is just really awesome. Like, I hope it's okay to mention this, but we have, like, a share of faith, and so it feels like a God thing for me, because I couldn't have picked a better partner in terms of someone who's healthy and strong and smart and capable, and it's just a really amazing partnership. I'm just really grateful.
I agree. I'm so thankful for us. I'm so thankful for what we have built and what we have done, and just like you had mentioned in the beginning, finding people who complement that. We cannot stop raving about that in each other, because so much would just not be done. Like, each of us have the ability to do things on our own. Like, we're independent people and we can get through life and all of these things, but when we're creating something of this caliber, it really does lack if the other person is not present. And so I think both of us going into this is so beneficial for everybody who comes to these events, and just continuing to grow this business the way that we have. So
Absolutely.
And I had no idea that bringing you guys on would result in I knew obviously it would be exciting for our listeners, but I had no idea it would result in so many parallels between the things you guys have brought it up and previous episodes that I've done. I mean, even I want to say the second or third episode I did was unapologetically you. Like, it was
oh my gosh,
right?
I love that. That's
and
amazing.
I have 3 daughters. My twins are going to be 8 in a week and a half. like your kids. My oldest just turned 10. Um, and the same things that you were saying about how they watch me or when I need my breaks, etc., and empowering them about business and entrepreneurship and ownership. So many parallels and things that we've talked about, and this is just amazing. And Colorado to boot. Like I am never going to get over that.
Right.
So
We'll just have to hang out
yes,
in real
yes,
life.
whatever it is, I'm gonna come to it.
Love it.
So yes, we covered, I mean, even more than I could have possibly thought that would be amazing to cover. And I love everything that you guys even said or brought to the table. So many of my beliefs are shown through what you guys are doing. I mean, it would be lovely for me to have an actual business partner, but I've got lots of colleagues and mentors and peers that I could, use as well. And, maybe one day. But so exciting to have you on. This is definitely not the last we are going to talk either, because I want to hear or get the info on a lot of those people you guys mentioned as well. But everything we talked about, or I will try to put in the show notes, all of the people we mentioned or all the things I'll try to put in the show notes for everybody below that was interested in something that we said, your newsletter, all of those things. And if there's anything, is there anything else that I might have missed before we get going?
I don't think so. No, I think we covered a lot. You did a great job asking questions. I think we got to all of it. I think we maybe talked too much, but that's because you had asked great questions and created this wonderful space to talk about it.
Nope, you guys brought some amazing content to the table, and just seeing and hearing like the way that I feel about running my business and life and partnerships or others that I bring with me to help me. I mean, I've had one girl, that I've used from like 3 jobs back. I'm like, no, you need to come to this one now. No, you need to come to this one now because it complements so well. Just really inspiring to hear that there are others like me out there. I mean, we know that they are, but I mean, even just closer just to talk to, and even by chance. I mean, because I originally reached out because everything looked amazing, totally up my alley. And I mean, I really use my podcast as an excuse to learn about people and ask questions that I'm interested in. And then by extension, the listeners are interested in. And so I didn't even know all of this extra stuff that we'd find out. So super excited. I'm really excited about this episode. It's going to be the last one I release this year. The holidays are crazy, right? I've got my twins' birthdays, my birthdays, all the too much. I need
happy early birthday.
Yeah, thank you. They were born on my birthday, just for fun. So thank you. That's probably the only birthday I'm going to get right now.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So the last one we'll release for this year, and then, come back strong next year. The whole point of our flexibility, right, is that we can take that time when we need it. So.
Exactly.
We're so grateful to you for having us on your show and for just like she said, creating such a great, open and safe space to have all of these conversations. We really appreciate it.
I'm so glad that you guys felt comfortable to share and came. So, and that I'm meeting you at all. So really the thank you is to you guys. So I'll put everything in the show notes, and listeners, I know there's something that you connected with on this episode and that someone who will connect with. So please share it with your friends or anyone. Sorry about the echo that's showing up again. But definitely share, follow, subscribe, sign up for their newsletter so you know what's going on. But most importantly, share it with your friends or other people that are going to find value from this. And that's how we build the community, and they've gotten their community, and we'll find others like us. So,
and I think that's how change starts, right? That's how we all start to have this community, is we start these conversations of I want to have these kind of friendships and relationships and partnerships in business too. So the more you share and start those conversations, the more we can change this world to be the kind that we want to live in.
Yes. And then other people will hear, well, I want that too, right? And then we'll all get to connect. So yes, absolutely. So we'll have everything on there. Make sure that you guys follow Elena and Emily and Mountains and Magic's event. And we'll see you in the next episode. So bye for now.